Most people think procrastination happens because they are lazy. But neuroscience suggests something very different. In fact, your brain is not trying to stop you from succeeding. It is trying to protect you from discomfort. Every time you delay an important task, avoid starting a project, or tell yourself, "I'll do it tomorrow," your brain is often responding to stress, uncertainty, or fear, not laziness. Because procrastination is rarely about avoiding work. It is usually about avoiding the emotions that come with the work. The fear of failing, the fear of making mistakes, the feeling of being overwhelmed. And every time you avoid those uncomfortable feelings, your brain rewards the avoidance. Over time, that pattern becomes automatic. What starts as a small delay slowly turns into a habit. And eventually, a cycle that feels impossible to break. But here is the good news. The same brain that learned procrastination can also unlearn it. And in this video, we'll explore why your brain procrastinates and 5 practical steps to start taking action. One of the biggest misconceptions about procrastination is that it is a discipline problem. But neuroscience explains it differently. Your brain is designed to conserve energy and avoid discomfort whenever possible. When a task feels difficult, uncertain, or mentally demanding, your brain sees it as a potential threat. And when that happens, it looks for a faster way to feel better. That is where procrastination begins. Instead of working on the task, you check your phone, watch a video, scroll through social media, or find something easier to do. These activities provide an immediate dopamine reward. And the brain quickly learns the pattern. Difficult task equals discomfort. Avoidance equals relief. The more often this cycle repeats, the stronger the neural pathway becomes. Eventually, procrastination starts feeling automatic. Not because you consciously choose it every time, but because your brain has learned that avoidance is the fastest way to reduce stress. Understanding this is important. Because you cannot solve procrastination by simply trying harder. You must change the pattern your brain has learned. Step 1 is to identify what you are really avoiding. Most people think they are avoiding the task itself. But in many cases, they are avoiding the emotion connected to the task. For example, someone who procrastinates on a work project may not be avoiding the project. They may be avoiding the fear of failure. A student who delays studying may not be avoiding the lesson. They may be avoiding the anxiety of not performing well. The brain is often trying to escape discomfort, not responsibility. That is why asking the right question matters. Instead of asking, "Why am I procrastinating?" try asking, "What emotion am I trying not to feel right now?" This simple shift increases awareness and activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for conscious decision-making. For the next few days, pay attention whenever you procrastinate. Notice what you were about to do. Notice what you were feeling. And notice what thought appeared just before the avoidance. Very often, the real trigger will reveal itself. And once you can see the trigger, you can begin changing the pattern. Step 2 is to make starting easier than avoiding. This sounds simple, but it is one of the most powerful principles in neuroscience. Your brain naturally follows the path of least resistance. When a task feels too large or overwhelming, the brain predicts effort and discomfort before you even begin. As a result, procrastination becomes the easier option. That is why trying to force yourself to complete a huge task often backfires. Instead, reduce the size of the first step. Do not tell yourself to finish the report. Open the document. Do not tell yourself to study for 3 hours. Study for 5 minutes. The goal is not to complete the entire task immediately. The goal is to lower the mental resistance to starting. Once action begins, something interesting happens. The brain starts generating momentum. And momentum is often stronger than motivation. Many people wait until they feel ready to begin. But action usually comes first. Motivation often follows after the first small step has already been taken. Step 3 is to use momentum instead of motivation. This is where many people get stuck. They believe they need to feel motivated before they can take action. But neuroscience suggests the opposite. Motivation is often the result of action, not the cause of it. When you complete even a small task, your brain releases dopamine. Not just when you achieve a big goal, but when you make progress toward one. This is why crossing a small item off a list feels satisfying. Your brain interprets progress as a reward. And that reward makes it easier to continue. The problem is that procrastination creates the opposite effect. The longer you wait, the bigger the task feels. And the bigger it feels, the harder it becomes to start. That is why successful people focus less on motivation and more on movement. They take one small action, then another, and another. Because once momentum starts building, taking action requires far less effort than it did in the beginning. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates more action. Step 4 is to remove friction from productive behavior. Most people think success comes from having more willpower. But behavior science shows that environment often matters more than motivation. Your brain is constantly looking for the easiest available option. If your phone is next to you while you work, you are more likely to check it. If social media is one click away, your brain will be tempted to choose it. Not because you are weak, but because the easier a behavior is, the more likely it is to happen. That is why small environmental changes can create surprisingly large results. Put your phone in another room. Block distracting websites. Prepare your workspace before you begin. Make productive actions easy and distractions inconvenient. Even a few extra seconds of effort can interrupt an automatic habit. That pause gives your conscious mind time to step in and make a better decision. The less friction attached to productive behavior, the more naturally your brain will move toward it. Step 5 is to reward progress immediately. One reason procrastination is so powerful is because avoidance provides instant relief. The moment you delay a difficult task, stress temporarily decreases, and your brain remembers that reward. The challenge is that meaningful work often produces delayed rewards. Learning a skill takes time. Building a business takes time. Improving your life takes time. Your brain does not automatically value future benefits as much as immediate ones. That is why creating small rewards along the way is important. Track your progress. Celebrate consistency. Notice each small win. Even something as simple as checking off a completed task can reinforce positive behavior. The brain needs evidence that action is worthwhile. Do not wait until you reach a major goal before feeling proud of yourself. Reward the process, not just the outcome. Because every time you choose action over avoidance, you are strengthening a new neural pathway. And with enough repetition, taking action becomes easier, more natural, and eventually automatic. Why does taking action feel so uncomfortable, even when you know exactly what you should do? The answer lies in how the brain views uncertainty. Your brain is designed to keep you safe, not necessarily to help you grow. And from the brain's perspective, familiar patterns feel safer than unfamiliar ones, even if those familiar patterns are holding you back. Procrastination may be frustrating, but it is predictable. Taking action is different. Action creates uncertainty. What if you fail? What if the result is not good enough? What if all your effort leads nowhere? The brain naturally wants answers to these questions before moving forward. But growth rarely works that way. There is always some uncertainty at the beginning. That uncomfortable feeling does not mean something is wrong. In many cases, it means your brain is adapting to a new pattern. The key is not to eliminate discomfort. The key is to keep moving despite it. Because every time you act while feeling uncomfortable, your brain learns that uncertainty is not something to fear. There is one more thing you need to remember. A single day of procrastination does not erase your progress. Many people fall into a dangerous mindset. They miss one day, delay one task, break one productive streak, and immediately think, "I've failed." So they give up completely. But neuroscience does not work that way. Your brain changes through repeated patterns over time, not through a single action. One day of procrastination does not destroy a new neural pathway. Just like one workout does not transform your body overnight. What matters is what happens next. Do you return to the new behavior? Or do you return to the old identity? People who successfully overcome procrastination are not perfect. They still have bad days. They still make mistakes. The difference is that they recover quickly. They do not spend days trapped in guilt and self-criticism. Instead, they restart. Again and again. Because lasting change is not built on perfection. It is built on consistency. And every time you start again, you strengthen the habit of taking action. If there is one thing to remember after this video, it is this. Procrastination is not a sign that you are lazy. And it is not proof that you lack discipline. In many cases, it is simply the result of a brain that has learned to avoid discomfort and seek immediate relief. The good news is that what has been learned can also be unlearned. Every time you identify a trigger, take a small first step, choose action over avoidance, or continue despite uncertainty. You are teaching your brain a new pattern. And those small moments matter more than you think. Because lasting change rarely happens through one dramatic decision. It happens through hundreds of small decisions repeated over time. So stop waiting for the perfect mood. Stop waiting to feel completely ready. And stop believing that motivation must come first. Take one small action today. Then another tomorrow. Because every action strengthens a new pathway. And eventually, the person who always procrastinated becomes the person who takes action. If this video gave you a new perspective on procrastination, comment the number 1 below. Just to see how many people are ready to stop waiting and start taking action.